All right, today we're with J.K. Terrell. J.K., where are you from?
I was born in Birmingham, raised and educated in Mobile, and been in Tuscaloosa over 30 years now.
All right. And how did you get in this music business?
Music was always part of our household growing up. Being a child of the 50s, growing up with big brothers and big sisters, listening to rock and roll and 45s, and having from the Big Bopper to Bill Haley to Buddy Holly to the early rockers, Elvis, in our house in the 50s, and being a child of the 60s with the Beatles and the Stones, and then psychedelia with Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin and Cream and the great bands out of the 60s. There was just always a rhythm in our house. There was just always music around, and I wish I could say I came from a family of musicians, but I'm the only one out of the 5 of us that really seriously played anything.
Okay, and who was the first one to teach you how to play?
Wow, I've never had a formal lesson.
Okay.
In any type of drumming or rhythm, although I did take some steel pan lessons in Amsterdam when I was in the Netherlands touring with Johnny Shines. There was a great panist over there that was actually French, and I took a few lessons from him because I thought that was such a beautiful instrument, but just kind of self-taught, just being around it, being exposed to it, and being able to steal great licks and riffs all my life.
What was the first band you were part of?
Oh Lord, it kind of evolved out of a situation down in Mobile. There was when I was in high school, there was one particular house down in the NAFCO area of the city of Mobile, and there was a couple of brothers there that had a set of drums and guitars and bass, and people would float through after school and just kind of jam. And some of the better musicians, of course, I was in the generation that was the first long hairs in our school and the first hippies, and we were also leaving pop, getting into what was alternative then, which was Jimi Hendrix and Cream and Zeppelin, and a lot of the old blues too. Albert King, Albert Collins, Freddie King, B.B. King, Johnny Shines. So there was kind of a core group of about 10 or 12 guys that were trying to learn to play, and this was an open environment where there wasn't any criticism. You could come in and jam and get good feedback from other guys that were about at your level. Out of that came a band called Full Moon, and in that band a lot of these guys are still alive and still playing professionally, but it was a rock, jazz, blues based band that had what turned out to be some of Mobile's best musicians.
All right. And can you name all the bands you've been with?
No. Golly, I lost count at about 30 because I've been doing this for 40 years. And sometimes some of my young students ask me, well, what kind of music do you play? And over 40 years, I've played everything. Blues, rock, pop, country club music, country music, hardcore country music. I toured out in Nashville for a while with a girl that was on her way to Hee Haw, and was in a reggae band out of Alabama for about 8 years. Currently, I'm involved playing gospel music in the oldest African American Baptist church in Birmingham. So over the years, just trying to stay active in the business and sometimes support myself. I've played a little bit of everything, jazz, a little bit of everything. Whatever I could make a couple of dollars at, I try to adapt and play.
I first saw you with Beanland.
Yep.
And that was a good band.
Great jam band out of Oxford, Mississippi. A couple of those guys moved on to Widespread Panic, and they're still doing very well. All those guys we're still all good friends. We still communicate. We used to do reunion shows with Beanland over in Oxford. That was a very big, very popular deal over there. The last one I played for the Double Decker Festival, I think we had about 30,000 people in front of us. But Beanland was kind of that core group, that foundation group of jam bands back in the late 80s and early 90s.
All right, great. You've given a lot of your time to educating the young. years with the Alabama Blues Project.
Yeah.
And you go to Mississippi every year and teach harmonica, don't you?
I still go over to John Gindick's Harmonica Jam Camp in Clarksdale. He does that about 3 times a year, and John Gindick is probably the world's foremost educator in harmonica. I know he sold more instructional books in harmonica than anybody in the world, and he's just a really cool, nice man that's taken me to the next level in my harmonica playing. He's always been very supportive of me as a player and as a teacher, and I started out as a camper over there, and he soon hired me to come teach beginners over there, and it's great exposure for me because I get to hang out with world-class harmonica players, and I'm kind of like the guy that scoops the elephant dung in the parade. Nobody notices me, but I have an important job. But that's a fun thing to do, and my secret is I learn more than anybody there because I really try to keep my mouth shut and my ears open when I'm over there around those world-class players.
Where do you see the future for J.K. Terrell?
Well, I hope it's so bright that I have to wear shades, but I'm leaving my the academic portion of my life teaching at the University of Alabama School of Social Work, and I'm retiring here in about 6 months. I've got a CD that I've put together, and hopefully will be out in early part of spring that we're about 80% through with now, and I want to use that kind of as a launching for getting out and touring more, playing more live, putting together a first-notch band of experienced players. These days it's not so much about the money, it's about getting along and being able to propagate your music and spread the word. And hopefully we can make some money doing it. You got to make money to pay good players, and I want to have good players, so we need to get out and turn a buck or two doing it. But hopefully we'll be out touring more. I'd like to get me 5 or 6 definite places that we can rotate around between Clarksdale and Atlanta, maybe down in New Orleans where we have some connections. So hopefully kind of stay on that regional gig right now.